When the curtain came down on the 31st of July 2000 performance of the Great Radio City Music Hall Spectacular, the occasion marked not only the end of Susan Anton's long-time association with the production, over 5,000 performances, but a milestone as one of the most enduring and versatile performers in show business. Yes, indeed, it was 30 years prior that Susan Anton first burst into the public consciousness, and ever since she's been captivating theatre, television, and film-going audiences with an ingratiating style and easy charm that's found among only a handful of performers. Her 5.5-year tenure in Las Vegas as special guest star with the Great Radio City Music Hall Spectacular and its renowned Rockettes, preceded by a 2-year US national tour of the same production, makes her not only one of the most popular and glamorous stars on the Las Vegas Strip, but a true veteran of the theatre. Susan headlined her own one-woman show to sold-out audiences for 2 months at the prestigious Desert Inn Hotel and brought back to Las Vegas a type of entertainment rarely found there today. Far removed from the glamour and lights of Las Vegas, however, was Susan's early life. The daughter of a police detective and the eldest of 5 children, Susan was raised in the small town of Oak Glen, California, on an apple ranch. Each morning she would ride her horse Domingo to a one-room schoolhouse where, in her 3rd year, she was one of only 2 people in the entire 3rd grade class. Her first foray into performing came during the 3rd grade talent show, where she played Hungarian Rhapsody on the piano. Oak Glen legend has it that Susan won the talent show that year hands down. Susan attended high school in the neighbouring valley of Ucaypa, and it was there that her life began to change dramatically. On a dare from her high school boyfriend, she entered the Miss Redlands beauty contest. Entranced with the charisma of such performance as Doris Day, Susan Haywood and Ginger Rogers, Susan elected to sing the torch song Since I Fell For You. The powerful performance, aside from her intellect and obvious beauty, left the judges with no decision other than to award her the Redlands title. Little did she know, however, that the contest was a prelude to Miss America and the first step to what would become an illustrious career spanning 2.5 decades. Susan appeared in numerous television commercials as the Muriel Girl. The campaign, hugely popular with the American public, was the catalyst for many appearances on the Las Vegas Strip. From that point forward, she appeared frequently on the Merv Griffin Show and quickly became one of Merv's favourite guests. Susan made her Broadway debut by replacing Candice Bergen in David Raab's Tony-nominated play Hurly-Burly, directed by Mike Nichols. Susan first emerged on the big screen in the film Golden Girl, and went on to appear in such other films as Making Mr. Right with John Malkovich, Cannonball Run 2, and New Jersey Turnpikes with Kelsey Grammer. And, as she has in every other medium, Susan has been a significant star on the small screen. For 3 seasons, she was part of the cast of the world's most popular television series, Baywatch, playing the role of Jackie Quinn. She starred in the international series Sail Away with Susan Anton, as well as the Travel Channel's Las Vegas, produced by Susan and her husband. She also hosted Perfect Buns, one of the most prominent exercise infomercials on television. She starred in ABC's Cliffhangers, as well as her own variety show on NBC, presenting Susan Anton. Susan resides in Las Vegas with her husband Jeff Lester, and together they own a production company that makes commercials, films, and documentaries. But Leapers will know Susan best as model, manager, and drug dealer Helen Le Baron from the Quantum Leap episode One Strobe Over the Line. Please enjoy Albie's conversation with Susan Anton.
Thank you so much for joining me today. Could you just first start off by letting us know a little bit about how you got the part for One Strobe Over the Line?
Well, it was, as you know, obviously better than anybody. The show was a huge success, and every actor wanted to be on it. So I was thrilled when my agent called up and said that there was interest in having me play Helen, this woman that ran this modeling agency, and who was not such a good character. She was not such a good person, I should say. And I was thrilled to have the opportunity to play somebody kind of evil, because up until then I'd always been cast as the good girl.
Do you like playing a bad guy versus a good guy?
Oh, it's a lot more fun. There's just so many more layers to it, and I think that there's a lot more freedom to it. So it was, and this gal was really a little bit off her rocker. She was so obsessed with making sure that her modeling agency was a huge success. So she would stop at nothing.
You were really amazing in this episode, and the character was very believable. One scene for me that stands out is the scene with you and Scott Bakula in the kitchen. Could you tell me a little bit about filming that?
Well, it was one of those really amazing serendipity moments that comes along once in a while, and the director had the vision, but he wanted to try to get that whole big scene in one take, and normally there's a lot of coverage and close-ups and everything else with a television series, with a show. And so Scott and I, we barely walked through. We had a rough idea of what we wanted to do. And then it was time to shoot the scene, and the director said action, and we just went for it. And it just all fell into place, and we literally only had one take. That was it. And now, which is really kind of fun, the little pieces of that are a part of the opening credits. So anytime Quantum Leap shows, Helen, me, I get to be a part of the opening credit. That's
awesome. What was it like making out with him in that scene like that?
Well, it all went by so fast. I'd like to go back in time and do it again and see and have a better recollection of it. It went by so fast. But Scott was amazing. He was just such a fun actor to work opposite because he's so present and so willing to just go with it. He's very available, very fun, and very supportive.
What was it like working with Marjorie Monaghan?
She was wonderful. She, young actress, playing this model who my character just plies her with all of these uppers and downers because I need her to keep going. I thought clearly for somebody so young with having a pretty big role there where she had to have a lot of emotional landscape to play, I thought she did a fantastic job and had a lot of confidence and composure. I enjoyed working with her. It was kind of hard to be so mean to her because she was so nice.
What about working with that lion?
Oh, that was a little scary. But, when I did Stop Susan Williams, I had a TV series, and I was always in some kind of peril on that show, and I was in a lion's den at one time with that. So, and been cobras and all kinds of, dangerous situations. So I've been down that road before.
Yeah, you've done a lot of things. I was checking out your IMDb and a lot of cool things. I noticed you were in Cannonball Run 2.
Now that was just one big party for about 6 weeks in the summer out in Arizona. Cannonball 1 had been a huge success, and so Burt Reynolds was at the height of his success, box office wise, and just as far as one of the actors that everybody wanted to work with because he was just so much fun. And Cannonball Run was just that. It was just a fun time, and they reunited the Rat Pack. So in addition to having these, just this great gathering of actors, we also had the reunion of Sammy Davis Jr., Frank Sinatra, Dean Martin, Shirley MacLaine. They were all there, so it was pretty, anybody who was still alive was there to be a part of that Cannonball Run too.
That's amazing. I'm a big Rat Pack fan.
Oh my gosh. Well, I got to work with Frank Sinatra and Sammy a lot as a singer because I'm also a singer, and I toured with Sinatra in 1984. I toured with him as the Olympic torch made its way across the United States into Los Angeles for the Olympic Games. So I got to work with him for an entire year, which was extraordinary. And I worked with Sammy many times, so had a little taste of the Rat Pack, and those guys were one of a kind, pretty amazing.
Absolutely amazing. Very jealous.
You should be. I was a lucky girl.
So could you tell me a little bit how you got in the business? I noticed you were Miss California.
Well, it was on a dare from my high school boyfriend, who I'm glad to say is still a dear friend of mine today. And I'm 5'11", so I was tall and shy. And my high school boyfriend, Keith, was a star athlete and played all the sports and had a lot of confidence. And he saw that there was going to be this local beauty pageant, and he thought it might be a good idea for me to give it a shot, might build some confidence. And I thought it was a pretty bad idea. But then I saw that there was a talent portion, and my secret love was, the idea that one day I could be a professional singer, and nobody knew that I had this wish but me. And so when I saw that there was a talent portion, I decided to enter this beauty pageant for Miss Redlands, a little town in Southern California, and so I could get on stage and sing. And so I did that, and I ended up winning Miss Redlands, and then I went on to become Miss California, and then I went to the Miss America pageant, and I came in second runner-up. And after that, I decided that the showbiz bug had sufficiently bitten me, and I wanted to see see how far I could go and what I could do. And so I started out finally getting an agent, which was hard, because I didn't have any experience. But I got a good agent and started going out on auditions for commercials. And commercials, little by little, started to I started to do a whole bunch of them, and then I got some national commercials. Most notably the Muriel cigar commercial, and that got a lot of attention. And so I was on the Tonight Show and on with Merv Griffin, and that's when Fred Silverman, who was then at ABC, president of ABC, signed me to a deal, and things just started to go from there.
Amazing. Yeah, I read you were on Merv Griffin about 30 times. Is that right?
I was on there a lot. I was like a regular. I mean, I'd even have my own parking place there. I was on so much. Merv was such a huge supporter. He was, such a great fan and friend, and let me just come on the show all the time. They invited me all the time. He thought it was pretty great that I could actually sing, and he supported my talent and gave me a platform, which I'll be eternally grateful for.
Very cool. And you're still singing today. You have a show out, a new show. It's called Susan Anton Already Home. Could you tell me a little bit about that?
Yeah, it's really great. I have a band that they've been with me we all started when we were in our 30s, and now we're all in our 60s, our young 60s, but we're all in our 60s. And so we've traveled the world together, and we've, been in each other's lives forever. We've gotten married, and people have had children, and we've lost loved ones. And so we're a very, very tight family. And we hadn't performed together in a while because I'd been mostly doing Broadway and theater work. And so the guys all have their other lives and very successful careers. And I was getting ready to have my birthday. And I said, it's time for us to get back home, back together, and do some jobs just for us, just because it's what we love to do and how we love to be together. And so I decided to call the show Already Home, because that is like coming home when you get to make music with friends. And we debuted our show at the Purple Room out in Palm Springs to great success. And then recently played there's a beautiful room that Herb Alpert built in Bel Air called Vibrato. Herb Alpert from the famous Tijuana Brass.
Yeah.
And his daughter Eden runs the place, and it's a spectacular club. So we did a night there, and it was one of those really amazing nights where everything just clicked and the audience was great. And so now they want me to come on a regular basis, like every 3 months, an artist in residence, which is pretty exciting. So, and then we're going to be playing various other dates. There's a venue out here in Las Vegas. My husband and I live in Las Vegas, called the Smith Center, and they have a beautiful room. So it's picking up steam again. So I'm back out there with my band singing, and we're just having the best time ever.
Very cool. How can people find out more about that if they want to come see you?
Oh, thanks for asking. There's a Susan Anton Facebook that's the professional site, and we keep everything posted there. So these dates are on there, and with always a link to how you can get tickets and come out and have a good time with us. And the show is really great. It's not cabaret. It's our show is everything from Led Zeppelin to Mark Cohen and the Beatles, and it's the music that I grew up on. So it's not a bunch of old torch song ballad kind of stuff. It's fun, it's energetic, and I like to think it's thought provoking, because I appreciate songs that have great lyrics. Like John Mayer's "Stop This Train," and just I like intelligent music as well as music that just makes you want to get up and dance.
Very cool. You mentioned your husband Jeff, right?
Yeah.
I'm a big Star Trek fan, and I remember him from Star Trek 4. Very, very important role in that, interrogating Chekhov. Yeah,
the FBI agent. Jeff Lester, he's now a director, but, God bless him. He was when Leonard Nimoy recently passed, Jeff was deeply touched by that, because he had such a great experience as a young actor being in that particular Star Trek that Leonard directed. And it's one of my favorite Star Treks, where the whales let us all know what we're doing to the environment, which is probably what is going on. Wouldn't be surprised. And I thought, so it was fun because Jeff did that long before I met him or knew him. And so when we started dating, and he showed me that clip. I said, "Oh my God, I remember you in that movie. You're fantastic." And not to mention, awfully cute. Now he's a director and making his own movies.
Awesome. Yeah, funny movie and funny part that he had.
Yeah.
Could you tell me a little bit about Spa Girl?
Well, Spa Girl is a whole other avenue for me that's really fun. It came into my life about a year and a half ago. I was doing a show out in Palm Springs, and when I'm in a place for a long time, because I was doing a show for a couple months, so I find out where I can go and work out, and I found this really great Pilates studio, and so I was doing my Pilates, and there was a gal there who became a friend, and as the new year was approaching and the end of my engagement, she invited Jeff and my husband and I over to her house. She said, I have something I'm working on, and I'd really like to introduce you to this product that I have. And I thought, okay. And it was Spa Girl. Spa Girl is a cocktail. It's a flavor-infused vodka, but high quality, all natural, 33 proof, beautiful packaging. It's nothing like, I don't like to say the other brand, but it's not like the other brand that was on the market and is just full of sugar. But what that other brand indicated was that there's a huge market out there for flavor-infused vodkas. And so Karen Haynes, my Spa Girl CEO, and I'm the brand ambassador, she invited me to come on board the Spa Girl train, and so we are launching the end of this month, the end of November, I should say, in Palm Springs in various locations, and then hopefully we'll just keep growing and growing. It's been a real labor of love, but it's absolutely beautiful, and everybody can go to spagirlcocktails.com and check it out.
Very cool. Sounds exciting.
It really is. It's really exciting.
What do you like better, singing or acting, or do you just like them both? Or
Well, I love them both. You know, whatever I'm in the middle of, that gets all of my energy. But I have to say, singing for me has always been, it's so immediate, it's so intimate because it's happening there in the moment with the audience and the musicians, and every single show is absolutely different. Nothing is ever the same, and it's never ever perfect, and it's the imperfections that make it more exciting when something strange occurs, if somebody drops a tray in the restaurant or whatever it is, because it just reminds you of how immediate it is and how alive it is. So I love singing a great deal, but making films and doing television is a real treat because the people that you get to work with on those long hours, you get a chance to really make some of the best friends you'll ever have in life. Even though you don't see them a lot, you spend that kind of those kind of long days together. You become really close. It's not casual.
You mentioned you did some theater. I'm very interested in theater. Could you tell me about what you've been doing?
Yeah, well, I haven't done some recently, but the theater projects that I have done, I did Hurly Burly on Broadway and had the privilege of being directed by the great Mike Nichols, which was extraordinary. I was in the Will Rogers Follies on Broadway and worked, directed by Tommy Tune, which was amazing.
Wow.
I toured, did Hairspray at the Hollywood Bowl with an all-star cast. John Stamos was Corny Collins, and Drew Carey played Harvey Firestone's husband. Yeah, it was really, it was extraordinary, and I was Velma Von Tussle, and I had played in the Hairspray production that they had here in Las Vegas as well, which was a big production. And then I toured in the National Company of All Shook Up, which is a great musical with all of Elvis Presley's music, really terrific piece of theater. And various other things, a couple of white chicks sitting around talking, and been approached to go out and do some dates with this other a musical that's been off Broadway for a long time in New York called Cougars, the musical, story of three friends that are of an age, and and is sharing their stories, and it's very funny, it's very clever, and it's very moving.
That does sound good.
Yeah, so I'm looking forward to that. There's always a lot of irons in the fire,
Got to keep busy, right?
You do indeed.
Before we get back to Quantum Leap, there was a couple things I noticed you were in that shows that I loved when they were on. My Secret Identity. Can you tell me about that, working with Jerry O'Connell?
Oh, my God. Well, he was just a kid. which is really so amazing now. They shot that show in Canada. I didn't really know much about it until I got up there, and it was a real surprise to me, the whole show. The cast was so sweet, and every time I see Jerry, I just can't help but think about that he was that little boy in that TV series, and now he's this, tall, lanky, wonderful leading man who is just turned into such a fine actor and so funny. But it was a lot of fun. It was a sweet show. It was a really sweet adventure.
Yeah, I'm about the same age as him, so it was one thing that I watched when I was that age.
Did you relate to him?
I did. I couldn't float or anything or fly, but...
That's the thing that's so funny about when you've been around and you've done as much as I have. There's things that you forget that you did, because I've been really, really lucky that I've been able to do a lot of things.
Going back to Quantum Leap.
Yeah.
Can you tell me where you did the filming? Was it in mostly sound stages, or where was the location of that bridge in the outdoor where you had that great final scene where everybody was leaving you one by one?
Yeah, that was out in the San Fernando Valley. I'm not sure exactly where, but I think it was the same place where they would do a lot of Little House on the Prairie. So we were really out there in the boondocks, and it was hot. It was a hot day. I remember that about that. The kitchen scene was actually there. I think that was at the Wiltern Theater. There was some stuff that we did in one of the great old theaters in downtown LA. Where we shot a lot of that stuff and used the kitchen and stuff like that. Very little soundstage work, actually, on that show. We were on location a lot.
Do you have any other memories or stories of your time on Quantum Leap? I know it was probably 25 years ago now, but...
Wow. Wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy. It's like you said, 25 years ago is a long time, but even now because, the show is still so beloved and in syndication and all over the world, that often I will get recognized. People will they'll come up to me and they'll say, "Oh, you're in Quantum Leap." I said, "Yep." So they remember. My overall memory of it was just what a well-run show it was. Because a lot of times when you're the guest artist, you step into a machine that's up and running, and sometimes you can feel a bit like you're on the outside looking in. But this cast and crew were so welcoming, and I felt like I really had a wonderful acceptance there. The Law and Order SVU is the same thing. When I guest starred on that a couple years ago, because these shows that have this long history and everybody has been working together for years. So it's really great when they accommodate the guest stars and make you feel like you're a part of the family.
Do you have some work that you've done that maybe you thought was really good, but not as many people saw it as you would have liked, and maybe the people that are fans of yours can go check it out?
Well, I guess the thing that would come to mind is actually my first film, which is Golden Girl. I played an Olympic track star, and the irony of that whole project was this is long before obviously Netflix and Amazon and all of that, where now we have their own programming. And back in the day when these miniseries were starting to become very popular on just our three major networks that we had at the time, ABC, NBC, and CBS. And so I was cast in this film, Golden Girl, where I played a track star. And I was being fed a bunch of steroids, which was ahead of its time, so that I would have these super abilities, so that I could win these 5 gold medals, and so this consortium of investors could make a lot of money. So the story is kind of, there's nothing new. It kind of came to pass as it is. But the irony of the film was that it was a co-venture with NBC and Avco Embassy, and to be released first in the theaters for theatrically, and then NBC was going to have the debut of the 4-hour. We shot a 4-hour piece, and they were going to have the never-before-seen footage and so on and so forth on NBC on a 2 or 3 night, big special. Well, the irony was that was the year that the United States boycotted the Olympics. And so our whole tie-in with my film and the Olympics and NBC went out the window because I ended up being the only American athlete to go to the Moscow Games. So a lot of people didn't end up seeing the film, but I was very proud of it. And Joe Sargent directed it, and he recently passed away, and he had a lot of faith in me to give me, the lead of a major motion picture when I really I didn't have a lot of experience. So I'm very proud of that film.
Very cool. I will check that out, definitely.
Yeah, dude, check it out. Well, it was so funny, too, because I had to train as an Olympic runner, and they got me, my coach, Tracy Sutherland, who was actually an Olympic coach, and it took a while for me to convince him to understand that I wasn't really training to go to the Olympics. I've never been so sore in my entire life. I said, you just need to make me look like a runner. I'm really not going there. And then when he came out to Las Vegas to train me while I was busy singing, I was working at night at the I don't know where I was at the time, at the Sands Hotel or something, and then during the day I would train. And so he came to the show and he saw me up there on stage singing. He said, "Oh, now I get it. Okay." And that got a lot better, but boy, I was sore, I tell you.
That sounds like it. That sounds like fun, though.
Oh, it was.
I noticed you had music CDs available on your website, SusanAnton.com.
Yeah, that's called One Night. And getting back to my band again, this was up until recently when we got back together to have some fun. This was a show that we did in Los Angeles about 6 years ago, I guess, at the Cinegrill on Hollywood Boulevard, which is no longer there. It was in the Roosevelt Hotel. But this was we were there for a week, and the show was so great, and people were loving it so much that we decided the last night to record the show. So we called the album One Night because we literally, it's as live can get. We recorded the show, brought in the big mobile truck, and had 16 tracks or whatever. And we also did a video of it, which there's a few of them. If people go online, you can see the videos on YouTube. And so that's the CD that's available on the website. And there'll be a Christmas CD as well that it will be up there this holiday season. Awesome.
I love holiday music. Listen to it all the time.
Oh, well, I think you really love this one. It's called Winter Wonderland, and it's very eclectic. It's traditional, but not, so I think that you'll enjoy it.
I will definitely check that one out.
Okay.
Well, thank you so much, Miss Anton, for being on the show. Really appreciated talking to you. I really enjoyed your work in this episode, and thank you so much.
Well, thank you, Albie. It was great reliving my quantum leap. I felt like I took a leap again back into a really wonderful time. And I wanted to send a shout out to all the leapers out there, keep it alive, keep it going. And let's hope that they do a remake, because I think they should.